Before we get into the video, I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer. This is an opinion-based video, and it's not meant to send any hate towards any store owner or any particular person. It's supposed to be really a first look into my first experience going to a store champs, and this will be a part of a new sub-series I call My Adult Thoughts. I'll be working on making sure that it's a proper intro in the next couple videos, but for now, I just wanted to throw in this PSA. Thank you, and enjoy the video. I went to my first store champs this week for Grand Archive TCG, and it didn't go the way I expected. Let's get into it. I make my way to where the store champs is being held at Top Dev Keep. Looks pretty normal. They have a good selection of cards, a pretty big space, and I meet with my friends and everything seems pretty chill and normal. I had been prepping for this tournament for a while. Between editing videos and doing research on some matchups, the meta, I was pretty hopeful to really dive into my first competitive experience. I arrived early just to kind of get settled in, kind of scope out the area, and really start defining my list. I have been obsessed with cardistry and suited allies, and I've been trying my best to learn a version using Tony. And now, after doing a bit of reps and testing my list and finally getting settled, I was kind of ready and eager to start. Everybody finishes registering and doing their payment, and as we start getting ready, finally meeting our opponents, that's when the first thing that I noticed felt a little odd. They made an announcement about how they don't know anything about Grand Archive, that they were judges for other games, and that was going to help them correlate or kind of define any other issues or any plays that maybe someone might have a question about. And so that was fine, I guess. I just kind of felt a little weird because I was like, oh, this is the very first tournament, you know, this is like something official. So I assumed maybe wrongly that there would be a little bit more of a formality, I guess. There wasn't any deck checks, kind of like they do in Pokemon, and there also was just an incorrect timer. And that was noted out actually by the players, not by the staff. So they did rectify that, and we did end up going forward. And I think everybody did have that kind of feeling that that was the right move to do. So as we kind of continued, we started first round. So my first match actually was against a Lorraine and Merlin hybrid. And essentially, I lost the first round. I won the second, and the third was extremely close. It was really fun, and I definitely felt like I could have sided better. And overall, I think something that I really took away from here was just really trying to pinpoint where their win conditions are and kind of verify what kind of cards they may have that can actually stop me. I definitely felt like I needed to be more of an aggressor, but I think I'll have to analyze those matches and really think about them in a way that kind of suits my play style as well. So anyway, moving on to the second round. In my second match, it was against my friend who was running Silvie Slimes. I was really able to pop off here a little bit. My allies were able to flood the board, and even with the threat of erupting slimes, there was still an option for me to use straight flares to continually ping them for extra damage and finally go for the wins on both games. And with one win under my belt, I definitely felt pretty good. I was happy that I took a match, and I was ready to report. So as I make my way over, I make sure that I tell my name and I report everything correctly, and they confirm. So I head on my way back, and we start heading towards round 3. Now, something I haven't mentioned actually was the fact that the timers were hitting the overtime limit already. Now, between both of my matches, I was able to finish under the time limit pretty quickly. I mean, running a fire aggro deck doesn't really lend itself to going to overtime all that often, unless I'm really forced to. However, what I did notice was that even when the timer went to 0, there wasn't like an enforcement of that time. There wasn't a judge coming over to be like, hey, this is overtime, just turn 1, turn 2 type of deal. So there were definitely moments in the competition, or rather in the tournament, that there should have been draws. And unfortunately, without that enforcement, people just kept playing. And no fault to them, I think. Honestly, it's pretty easy to get tunnel visioned into when you're playing. And, you know, very seldomly, you'll be looking at the clock anyway. But yeah, that was an issue that I kind of had. So round 3, I'm actually playing against my friend who's playing the Wind Shadow Strike Tristan. It's pretty cool. I think overall, this was probably my hardest matchup. I think I really needed to keep more influence kind of as a priority and really start chipping away at them, it was really easy for them to kind of clear my board every now and then, and also just hit me for 15 damage with Slice and Dice. Now, I think what I learned the most out of these matches, or this match that I had with Wind Shadow Strike, was definitely learning to bluff a little bit more, holding up a bit more interaction, and even also figuring that the way that I'm supposed to play really my deck doesn't necessarily mean I always have to tap out. That I know that I'm playing aggro, but just because I'm playing aggro and 90% of the time that might be what I want to do, there's still moments when maybe even playing an ally too early might cost me. And so I really need to be more combo focused, which is why I really like the Suited Allies deck so far. But we'll get more into that later on as I kind of continue learning the deck. Anyway, I lost the match. Honestly, it was very fun and I really enjoyed it. And I think I was able to kind of grasp a little bit more about why my list or why my siding just didn't really work all that well, but also how I can improve, which is exactly what I was going for. The only issue is now at round 4, I get the bye. And so, okay, I got the bye, no big deal. I start looking around and I start checking my Omnidex scores, and I realized that there was an incorrect report, and it was my round 2 report, where I had claimed that I had won, but they wrote me down as if I had lost. So not only did that mess up my pairings, but it did mess up other pairings as well. Regardless of how I performed, I feel it might not have mattered too much, but again, coming to my first store champs, and feeling like it should have been a little bit more formal and a little bit more official, it just felt a little disheartening to kind of feel like it was just another locals. Overall though, again, I had a lot of fun. I definitely will be playing a little bit more and trying to go to different types of stores as well. My next trip will be to Northern California, where we'll be attending the regionals. And it'll be fun. If I see you there, definitely say hi. It'll be fun to vlog around there and actually get more full context. This one was just a little harder to vlog. It was more kind of locals feel of it, and it was just a little harder for me to really kind of capture anything. Like, I did capture a few of my friends. I did learn a little bit more about how people were kind of playing. I definitely didn't need to tech for water. Water is definitely not around for right now, but I think overall it was a really fun experience and something that I definitely want to do again. Definitely let me know, guys, if this is something that you've maybe experienced. I'm not sure how everybody else's first time at a store champs was, and maybe it's just my misconception of how these are supposed to run, and that maybe I just raised my expectations a little too high. I know that store champs aren't necessarily too high up the ladder in competitive events, but I just was really looking forward to trying out something more competitively, which I definitely did get. Don't get me wrong, like as much as like the disorganization of the event might have been, I definitely felt like I learned a lot from other players and the way that they were playing as well. So I'm really excited to keep growing, and I hope you guys will catch me on that journey. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.